Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're going to have ourselves a 1v1 on Kholodny Ferma. Our heroes today are going to be RNG FestiveLongJohns playing as the Overcommandos for the first time in our casts. And his opponent is going to be Mr. Lazy Ren playing as the US, which we saw in the previous cast. Now, while this gets underway, we can already see that Lazy Ren has gotten his Doctrine selected, and that Doctrine is, in fact, the Rifle Company. It is a Doctrine that is not common. It's actually pretty rare. It's a blue one, and you will not see it that often. However, he already has it, and one of the cool things that it has, not the only one, but it is that it gives you Veteran Riflemen. A Veteran Riflemen already come, well, as they stand, with Veterancy, almost Veterancy 2 apparently. They cost as much as normal Riflemen, but they have a little bit more population cap requirement, and they have a longer cooldown to be able to be produced. But it is pretty awesome. And then, of course, at the end, they're going to give you the Lazy 8s that you can see right there, which are pretty much better all-around Shermans. So anyways, we see Lazy Ren going down south with his rear echelon squad, getting some barbed wire laid down across the path. Very nice. We still see that half-track being pushed into the field by Long Johnson. I am going to call him Long Johnson because of, Long Johnson, but he's Long Johns. And it's running into the rifleman now. Of course, it has been fixed now, as opposed to launch, where you could crush infantry with the half-track. Well, that is no longer the case. It actually takes a lot of damage, as you can see, just simply by small arms fire. So it has to be rather careful. But, well, FestiveLongJohns is moving it over on there. He gets himself 2 Volks Grenadier squads with his starting Storm Pioneer. Volks Grenadiers moving up to the house. They're going to try and engage here. Let's put the normal angle. The half-track is still going to be capable of pushing, however, which is what I originally thought that players were doing, but it turns out that they were crushing, which was kind of stupid. But yeah, like I said, that's been fixed, but you can still push. It's a risky maneuver because you're going to take damage. And also you can see that right here, there's a new gap in the map. The map, Kholodny Ferma, has been rebalanced, and it now features a hole there. Down south, we hear another engagement. We have the Storm Pioneers running into Riflemen, and the rear echelons taking quite a beating themselves, managing to inflict a decent amount of casualties to the Rifleman squad. At close range, the Storm Pioneers will win out against the echelons and Riflemen. And even on a 2-on-1, if they manage to close the distance before too much damage gets inflicted on them, they can actually take down a squad before they go down themselves. So they are very, very difficult and very dangerous to deal with. Now, we do have a Kubel wagon on the field for FestiveLongJohns. He opens up over on the rifleman over there and forces them away. The Kubel wagon is kind of cool. I mean, you can tell right there it has this little arc of fire. It's essentially a mobile MG, but yeah, it does have low armor. Detection enemy units, even while camouflaged, are visible on the minimap. Ooh, that's cool. A little nice scouting ability there. And the rear echelon squad retreats. We see an ambulance getting produced for Mr. Lazy Ren, and we have no tech so far. No, yeah, nothing so far. The truck is still over there. The trucks for the Overcommandos, you probably already know, but the way that it works is that the trucks are called onto the field automatically, and then you can transform them into the tech structures. You can either go for your battle group at headquarters, which is essentially, I guess, Tier 1, or Tier 2 to the Mechanized Regiment headquarters. So yeah, essentially this thing takes a little bit to set up. Once it sets up, it's when not moving, the mounted MG-34 is able to suppress enemy infantry. So it essentially becomes an MG when you keep it stationary. It can still shoot on the move and chase things down. So it's not, you know, necessarily to be stationary, but it will not suppress. At least I don't think it will easily. Probably not at all while it's doing like that. Now we also see that FestiveLongJohns has selected his Doctrine, and that is the Fortifications Doctrine, giving him the option of getting those MG-34 heavy machine guns. He already has one on the field here, so he'll be able to start denying some more territory. Rear echelons in the center, even though they're supposed to be rear, but I don't know. I mean, they do what they want, right? MG34 opening up on them. They managed to dodge that. Getting some damage on them. They are forced to retreat, and the Kubel wagon also setting up for some suppressive fire. Back at base, we see that the truck has been turned. Now, this is similar to the Brits back in Vico, or well, the original Company Heroes, where you would call in, your trucks, and those would be your buildings. But it's not exactly the same thing. They don't actually give you any resource income by being in other territories, and for the most part, you kind of want to keep them back at your base anyways. The difference is with the Tier 1 building, I believe it's... Yeah, I don't think this is the one that... Yeah, this is the Tier 2, the regiment. Regiment headquarters. You can turn that one into an advanced retreat spot, so that one you might want to, if you're going that route in tech, put it out on the field, but for the most part, you don't. We see that Lazy Ren has got himself a ambulance and a lieutenant already on the field, and he is also producing the anti-air half-track, which is a very strong unit. Has been rebalanced recently. We'll see if it's still really, really strong, but, well, whatever. MG34 running into a rifle squad down south. Gets itself in a bad position, is forced to retreat. Further down south, Volks Grenadiers capturing that victory point. They're going to try and stop those riflemen, but the riflemen pretty much beat out the Volks Grenadiers on any engagement. However, with a grenade, that changes quickly, and the riflemen are now down to 3 men themselves, are forced to retreat, and there they go. Keep in mind that the rifleman squads are veteran, although that was a standard rifle. No, actually, that was the veteran rifle squad, yeah. So they're a little bit tougher, simply because of the veterancy. Lieutenant running up to the northern victory point, runs into that MG34. Going to be difficult to not say MG43, but gets itself pinned down, but it is providing a distraction for a flanking rifleman squad. We have a second squad of riflemen going down south. This rifleman squad is standard riflemen. The veteran one is back at base. Yeah, veteran rifleman. And the Kubel wagon is trying to stop there. We now have the anti-air half-track on the field. Now, you can see there this little arc of fire that the half-track shows. It has a big line here in the front. That is actually not its arc of fire. That is its arc of unfire. You can't actually fire to the front with this truck. It can only fire in the backwards position and in that angle. So you most of the times want to use it in reverse and make sure you position it properly. For example, it can't shoot at this house right now, but it can cover the entire territory behind it. And it's very strong. You can see now that it took down a MG34, which Lazy Ren can very easily pick up. Now on the field, we do have a Puma for FestiveLongJohns, as he did go for Tier 2 rather than Tier 1. Still doesn't have that. He does have yet another truck on the field, which they automatically get called in. I believe it takes 3 minutes each, 180 seconds, something like that, to call in. So that is a, by default, delay on your tech. The rear echelon squad is trying to retreat as the Puma is chasing it down. The half-track is trying to fight the Puma. Standard shots from the machine gun on the anti-air half-track, not really doing too much to the armor of the Puma. It needs its actual flak shots to penetrate. And the Puma manages to inflict a little bit of damage to it, but I think it will be fine. The Puma is backing off. It's not in the best of positions, so I think it'll just get the hell out of there. Needs a little bit more support. Does have the Kubel wagon around for support, but the Kubel wagon definitely cannot stand up against a half-track. And the half-track crew just pops out, gets some repairs, and is going to pop right back in, which is a great feature for the U.S. Army. It's just so nice that the crew is very capable of doing that, so it limits your necessity for rear echelons and such. Even though I have seen that some players are doing a rear echelon-focused strategy. I'll try and see if I can pick up a replay with that later on, but, it is still very early in the life of the Western Front armies being live, and the meta will be shifting, changing, and some strategies will become prevalent and some others will not. We will figure out what is good, especially with more tournaments and such. Anyways, down south we see one of the stolen MG34s running into an S minefield. That S minefield is going to be kind of annoying, and the rear echelon squad has actually picked up some LMGs, the bars. So they can't actually, well, not LMG really, it's the bar rifle, but they're not going to be able to get their detection to clear out this, so it's going to be kind of annoying there for Lazy Ren up in the north. We do have the Puma circling around, MG34 being brought in to try and support. We have the Kubel wagon still on the left-hand side. Storm Pioneers nearby. They could actually repair this guy, but they're currently otherwise engaged. The Lieutenant trying to get damage in on that MG34, getting shot by the Puma, forced to retreat. Rifleman squad does have the ability to throw a rifle grenade, but the Puma manages to dodge that. The anti-air shots do fly from the half-track, doing a lot of damage there to the Puma, but the Puma manages to knock out the main gun, shoots it once again as it tries to move out of the way, and down goes the half-track. Nice pickup there for FestiveLongJohns, and we see Lazy Ren is forced to retreat. We also have a half-track, flag half-track from FestiveLongJohns to combat the infantry and such. A very strong unit here, managed properly. What is its options? Concealing smoke. Yeah, it's just Veteran C2. Let's take a look at the description. It says, this half-track is mounted with rapid firing 270 effect. The rear collapsible sides are deployable to give the gun a full range of motion, and the half-track should be placed to provide anti-infantry as well as anti-aircraft support. Okay, there you go. Rear echelon squad in the center, brought down one, forced to retreat. Stolen MG34 going to be running into the flak half-track. They instantly retreat as the flak half-track will just rip them to shreds. In fact, on the retreat, they do take a little bit more damage. And we see yet more MG34s getting called onto the field by FestiveLongJohns. He wants to have that mobile MG support. I mean, considering the fact that he has the Kubel wagon, 2 MG34s, one that was already stolen, and the flak half-track that suppresses infantry very quickly. He has a lot of tools to be able to lock down territories against infantry, so it's an interesting strategy here. Back at base, we see the captain being produced for Lazy Ren, so he is not going to be skipping any tech. He is going tier 1, tier 2, and is also calling himself, or building himself, an AT gun, which is why he obviously got that captain. The captain also comes with 2 bazookas included, so it is not simply a building, it is also a already included form of anti-vehicle. So it's a nice thing to have. A lot of infantry troops just moving into the center. In the center, we have MG34 set up with Volksgrenadiers capturing the point. The MG34 team is going to be popping into the church. It did get suppressed right before it got in, but it managed to make it out. And we see a lot of firepower coming in by all the infantry, doing a lot of damage, taking down that MG34 very quickly. The flag half-track nailing the crew inside the church, managing to inflict a decent amount of damage. Grenades flying in all directions. The MG34 going to be stolen once again by the rear echelon squad. No, it actually looks like he's going to wait until he can secure the territory. The captain is pushing forward with its bazookas. Bazooka shots just missing, and the captain is getting itself suppressed by the flag half-track. The flag half-track is focusing on a different squad. Rifle grenade can fly at the flag half-track. There it goes, and it hits. Gets some damage on the engine. The captain, however, is currently pinned down, unable to move. He is, nope, the lieutenant is also pinned down, while the riflemen, there you go, they get pinned down. Just look at that awesome firepower from that flag half-track. It is a very, very scary thing. The Kubel wagon does go down, however, in the engagement, as the rear echelon squad was able to provide support. Behind them, we also have an AT gun, which the AT gun actually nailed the Kubel wagon, and an ambulance nearby to be able to reinforce and heal the troops. Unfortunately, though, for Lazy Ren, his troops were pinned down and forced to retreat. He does also have riflemen down south, just moving around. And the MG34 is brought into the center just to get itself pinned down by the MG34 that got stolen, which is currently in that church. Stuka getting produced by FestiveLongJohns. 6 heavy 28 centimeter rockets can be launched in a single barrage, destroying enemy positions and infantry. So considering the position in the church and the amount of infantry, yeah, Stuka looks like a nice choice. We'll get to see it live. I have yet to see it in any of my games, so there you go. MG34 pushes up and getting some shots off on the rocket team inside, which is one of the cool things there. The I forget what it's called, but it's essentially the Panzer Shrek anti-tank gun. You can actually garrison it into buildings, which makes it very strong and very dangerous. Also, Volksgrenadiers equipped with Panzer Shreks already. And we see the Storm Pioneers coming up behind the weapons team in the church. getting a lot of damage in through the windows and set up in a position to be able to clear it out. We do have a lot of infantry troops pushing out, however, for Lazy Ren. Lazy Ren's going to be able to get his MG34 out of there. However, it sets up as it exits the church. Still, though, not enough damage going in, and we do have the rifle squad coming in for a flank and managing to clear out the squad in the center, which was a Volksgrenadier squad with a Panzerschreck. Unfortunate loss there for FestiveLongJohns. Flag half-track being pushed into the center, doing a lot of damage there to the infantry, getting a suppression on that rifle squad. Rifle squad needs to retreat as it's down to 2 men. The lieutenant tries to move out of the way, but gets instantly pinned in one shot. That is kind of ridiculous, but they are forced to retreat out of the field as well. Up in the north, the captain is going to go for the munitions point, going to be engaging the Shrek squad in the building, getting some damage out there. We have the Stuka barrage flying in the direction of the captain. Look at those explosions. Whoa, the captain barely manages to get out of there. That was impressive. That looks very amazing. Why have I not seen this before? Jesus Christ. So that was the creeping rocket barrage. So, yeah, I mean, I remember the creeping essentially just goes in a line, hits first, there, so it can chase things essentially. So that was pretty good. Unfortunately, though, it didn't do anything, but if I'm not mistaken, it doesn't look like it costs anything. No, it just takes a long time to recharge, but it goes through. We also have incendiary rockets, which cost 100 munitions. And we see that there is the artillery gun, the pack howitzer for Lazy Ren, just bombarding the building up there that had the Shrek inside, this guy, the Raktenwerfer. Anti-tank rocket launcher. And he gets it out. Riflemen up into the north. A lot of troops moving into the center. Storm Pioneers and Volksgrenadiers littered around the center. We still have that MG34 down there. Not getting picked up by anybody. And down in the south, we have the stolen MG34 team going for the cap of the victory point. It runs straight into another MG34 team. And it tries to set itself up to be able to combat it. However, I believe it's going to get pinned, and it won't be able to decap, or at least not cap. Does manage to get the decap, and is forced to retreat. Lieutenant is moving up. Lieutenant will be able to deal with this squad a little bit more effectively if it can get close in range, and it does actually manage to get across the arc of fire. The MG34 is turning itself around, trying to get a line of sight to kill it, but the squad is managing to lay down enough suppressive fire there that the squad is forced to retreat. The MG34 team will be forced to retreat through an awkward path there as they don't have the direct path back to their base. The lieutenant squad is able to inflict a lot more damage, down to 1 man on that squad, but it barely makes it alive, and it stays alive. Center map, AT gun, 50 cal machine gun, and a rifleman squad is moving up. Do we still have a veteran rifleman squad around? I don't know, actually. No. Well, Stuka barrage going down on top of all that we have here, but nothing actually got hit. I mean, the church got hit, but no troops got hit. And we now have the Easy 8 Sherman. So yeah, I mean, essentially this is a better Sherman all around. Better movement, better velocity and such, and a better gun. So it's the pinnacle, like it says there, the pinnacle of Sherman development. This mobile and accurate tank uses smoother HVSS suspension and a stronger M1 76mm main gun than the standard tank. Up in the northern victory point, we do have S minefields, which are being very annoying for Lazy Ren. He does have a 50 cal machine gun trying to stop whatever infantry and enemy teams move up. The Raktenwerfer gets itself caught in the fire and is forced to retreat. And you can tell why it is able to actually garrison buildings, because it counts essentially like a weapon team. For example, like an MG, you can see them retreating now, whereas AT guns, you can't actually retreat them. You have to tell them to slowly just walk away, especially things like that. So that is why it is able to actually get in there, because it's not essentially classified as a anti-tank gun type of team. Lieutenant, Veteran C3, very nice and fancy, getting caught by the flak half-track. Can it actually make it out of there? Down to one man. It looks like he will be able to make it out. One man running for his life. Against all odds. Looks like he's going to make it out. Center map, Volks Grenadiers going back for the cap. A lot of victory point harassment here by both players. We have 408 points left for FestiveLongJohns, 311 left for Mr. Lazy Ren. Center map, the Volks are complaining that they are taking fire. They're probably taking fire from the pack howitzer. And we see that in the north, the 50 cal machine gun is going to move down to try and engage this. Stuka sending, oh, nice barrage on top of the pack howitzer. Pack howitzer gets cleared out. Very nice utilization of the creeping barrage right across the road, making sure that anything gets caught there. Damn, that thing is amazing. Why have I not been up against this? Why does nobody build it? How much does it cost? This costs 100 in fuel. Oh well. So we see that FestiveLongJohns is building himself tier 4. Or tier 3, I guess you could call it. I don't know what you call it. EC8 running straight into the center, right in front of everything. Gets shot by the Puma. Gets right on top of that flak half-track. Going to be killing the flak half-track very easily. There it goes. Gets abandoned and then destroyed. We do have the Juer Panzer headquarters, which will allow FestiveLongJohns to build himself, you know, heavier tanks and such. But it also has a gun on top. So this one is a little bit more, you know, encouraged to bring it out into the field, like FestiveLongJohns is right here. He is setting up a forward position, and this gives him some defense. Most powerful. Doesn't actually say how it works. Yeah, well, I'll see if we can check the other truck afterwards, but I want to see if it has any description of what gun it has on top. Because it looks pretty awesome. Look at that. Deutschland. Yeah. Okay, so a little bit of a lull here in the fight. We see that Lazy Ren has pulled back, is getting his team there to repair the EZ8. Using his M8 here, another EZ8 as he calls it in, to clear a little bit of the minefields here, as minefields won't really do anything at all to the Sherman's armor, so they are able to simply run through the minefields, detonating those mines and clearing the area a little bit more for the infantry. One thing to keep in mind, the EZ8 does not have, at least not that I could tell, the ability to switch between high explosive and armor-piercing rounds, which... Oh my god, that... Whoa! Jesus, Stuka. Calm down, look at that. Wow. 10 kills already on that Stuka, destroys everything in its path, clears out that AT gun, clears out the pack howitzer completely as it destroys a weapon. And just makes it incredibly annoying for anything to do anything. The Sherman gets itself out of there as it turret traversal jammed. The tank's turret traversal mechanism has been temporarily jammed by enemy fire. Oh, interesting. I had not noticed that. I had not noticed that, and that is the aim shot. The Puma gunner benefits from the accuracy. Oh my god. Well, that EZ8 went down easy. Get it? No. Benefits from the accuracy of 5 aim shot can be fired at an enemy, temporarily disabling the target if the shot penetrates. Okay. Well, very nice use there of aim shot by FestiveLongJohns. The EZ8s taking quite a bit of punishment. We now have Obersoldaten on the field as tier 3 is now in effect. Nice grenade. That is a bundle grenade right on top of the lieutenant. The lieutenant is forced to retreat. Can he make it out? Very low in health. The Obersoldaten is fighting now with the stolen MG34. Or is that a 50 cal? I do not know. But that is a very lucky break there for Lazy Ren as he was about to lose his lieutenant. We have medics on the field chasing down troops as the ambulance is now equipped or being driven by a rear echelon squad. Not too sure about that myself, but I guess that's fine. I mean, it's kind of cool that you can have the medics out. The medics will heal automatically anything that goes back to base while it gets reinforced. So you're not, you know, forced to bring everything back up over here. And you can still pop the healing ability around and reinforce with your ambulance. So, you know, it's not a bad thing. It's just, you know, well, it's a rear echelon squad that's not going to be fighting, I suppose. Very sneaky but dangerous position there to have the Stuka for FestiveLongJohns. He is pushing up to the north. The EC8 is moving up to enforce Mr. Lazy Ren. And the rifle squad is just running straight into the fire of an MG34, trying to just crawl its way there as a Puma moves in. The Puma is going to be getting itself another aim shot, I think. No, it actually does not have enough munitions to do so. A very brutal barrage there by the Stuka, not managing to hit anything, really. And smoke screen gets popped there by the Puma as it does not want to die to the M8. Riflemen are able to essentially stay alive and clear out the MG34 to capture the point. One thing I didn't mention is about our players. I just got into the game. Mr. Lazy Ren, at the time of casting this, his US play is 125, and FestiveLongJohns is ranked 71st for his 1v1 Oberkommando play. So there you go. Obersoldaten moving down south. They come equipped with an MG34 light machine gun by default. They have bundle grenades. Veterancy 1, they get Blenkorper 2H frangible smoke grenade. Smoke grenade uses caustic titanium tetrachloride to create a smoke screen and harm nearby infantry through acute exposure. Obscures line of sight and disables vehicle weapons if they stay within it. Ah, interesting. So it's smoke to both conceal you and, you know, but it also damages stuff. That's nice. And booby trap. Booby trap, a known and in supply territory or resource point with explosives that trigger when enemies try to recapture. Interesting. Does cost 50 munitions though, so it's should better be good. Up in the north, we have the EC8s just moving around. We do have a Volks Grenadier squad set up in the munitions point that can easily run into those EC8s. The EC8s will open up on them, shoots, kills one. They try to move away. More shots fly. They're just taking a beating there and are forced back. We do have two Pumas on the field for FestiveLongJohns. The Pumas are very deadly. They're very, well, not very weak, but, you know, they're weaker. But they're quite deadly. So, let's see here. Where's it going? Up to the north. Oh, wow, that squad stayed alive. That was very lucky for that guy. He was in the middle of the explosion, but nothing actually hit him, so he makes it out of there alive. That's Stuka, damn. And it's still not veteran. And it has 5 veterancies to go. Let's see, vehicle training ready time, allowing for barrages to be fired with greater frequency. At veterancy level 4, it's when it would get the incendiary rockets, so you can shoot a little bit more often at veterancy 1. Increases at 2. Increases the range at 3. It gets the rockets at 4. And then it just maneuvers better. Ooh. EC8 gets its turret locked down once again. We see an ability getting called down by something right on top of that house. That house does have that Raketungwerfer. That is an incendiary. Oh, the white phosphorus. It gets called in by Lazy Ren. It both conceals and deals damage. Burns everything, so it's very difficult to stay in there. Raketungwerfer, however, stays alive with still 4 men, and look at the amount of health. Those guys are gonna die. My God. Do we have any healing back at base? I don't think he does, because he needs the tier 1 building. Oh yeah, we have that over here. I was gonna see if it would tell me anything about it. Armed with a powerful 3.7 centimeter flak gun. That's what it says. Okay, there you go. So he's now actually going to build the tier 1 to get the medics out so that he can heal up that Racket Warfare, which is just ridiculously low in health. Center map, MG34 trying to go for the cap. We do still have that other Racket Warfare in the house. Stuka barrage right on top of everything. Oh my god, it hits the tank, does damage to the rifleman, does damage there to the MG34, forcing it away. We see the lieutenant just blazing forward, going for the victory point. The EC8 running straight into two Pumas. The Pumas able to penetrate the armors of the EC8s. Not easily, but effectively. We also have this guy using 2-unit radio net. This unit is coordinating fire with another tank, apparently. Not sure where that comes from. And the Pumas are forced to back off as the tanks are able to press their dominance into the center. Lazy Ren pulling back with his troops. We have the MG34 LMG from the Obersoldaten just getting some damage in there. We still have that ambulance out in the field, and the medics are there, in fact. So the medics are going to be able to help heal additionally. So it's going to be nice to do so. And obviously the ambulance can just pop its AoE heal so that any troops that are not in combat can just heal. Down south, we have the veteran rifleman with flamethrowers, as that is another ability from the rifle doctrine, the rifle company. That's not a doctrine, it's a company. That allows your riflemen to actually get flamethrowers. These riflemen over here are standard riflemen, and they have the bars. You can see the bar rifles on them right there. And a squad of Obersoldaten, I believe, is killed in the center. Or was that Volks? Who knows? Something dies there. Up in the north, MG34 is just moving around. Volks as well moving around for support. And we have a Puma just sitting up in the north waiting for a flank. Waiting to come into a nice little angle against enemies here. Could potentially move in this direction while one is over here or maybe over here. So it's a nice thing to do. Another Stuka barrage, the rifleman squad not needing to retreat really, as it managed to actually dodge the first shot. Well, I mean, it took a couple of casualties there, but it stayed alive. Machine guns just trying to hold the flank up in the north. We have the MG34 and the 50 cal machine guns just opening up on the approaching Volks Grenadiers, managing to force away. And we see that Lazy Red is going to move up to the north and engage in that direction. MG34 up in the far north manages to catch the lieutenant as it goes for the cap of the victory point and manages to get the decap. The EC8 is barreling into that position, going to try to get that MG34 out of the way. The lieutenant did get pinned down, but with the presence of that tank, the lieutenant is going to be just fine. The MG34 goes down, and we see that LongJohns has lost his MG34s now. 3 EC8s in total up in the north. That is a very potent force there for Lazy Ren. That is going to be very difficult for LongJohns to deal with, but he does have 3 Pumas to counter one-on-one those EC8s. However, well, these guys are a heavy armored car rather than a tank, so it's going to be very difficult for them to deal with it. They have to focus fire and get the kills on one of the tanks very quickly. They are being supported by Racket Warfers, so it's not all bad, but it's going to be difficult nonetheless. EC8's moving into the center. They are having to fight against one Puma and a Racket Warfer. The Racket Warfer is dealing a lot of damage at range. One of the Pumas gets shot in the rear there by an M8. The EC8 goes down. Second one is still holding the center, taking damage after hit. I mean, hit after hit. Taking a lot of damage there by the Racket Warfer and the Puma. The Puma trying to chase it down and trying to get the kill on the EC8. The EC8 absorbs the shot through its frontal armor. The Puma going to shoot once again. Bounces the shot, and the Rifleman squad actually ends up getting the kill. The Puma goes up in a blaze and is currently just burning in the center of the world. Its ammo caught on fire, and the crew killed inside by the excessive heat. Oh my god, a amazing barrage there by the Stuka. looked amazing. Didn't actually do too much. Stuka does finally get Veterancy 1, however, so it means it doesn't take as long to get that going. But it did. It looks like it ended up killing the EZ8. The EZ8 is now on fire. Once again, the crew is dead inside, and the ammunition stored inside is just going to burn for eternity as the tank just remains there. Well, not for eternity, a couple days maybe, but there you go. Machine gun forced to run away. We do have a crew on top that, excuse me, that apparently ditched its vehicle. So we have, yeah, we have nothing. No more M8. Wow, that was very painful there for Lazy Ren. FestiveLongJohns is in a comfortable position. He did only lose one of his Pumas, still has two. Utilizing one of those Pumas right now to engage the infantry. The infantry is forced to back off as Obersoldaten get brought into the mix. But Mr. Lazy Ren still has quite a bit. I mean, he has a significant amount of infantry. I mean, those are 3 riflemen, a lieutenant, even a crew, a vehicle crew there. Although probably would be better to utilize the rear echelon squad. Just pop it out there and use the vehicle crew on the ambulance if he wants to have his medics out on the field just to heal up the guys that retreat. At least in my opinion, because the vehicle crews, well, yeah, I mean, they do have guns, but they're very limited. They have themselves those grease guns, which I guess they do a decent amount of damage close range, but, you know, they're just vehicle crews. They're not trained as riflemen or such. So. Nice grenade on top of the Volks. The Volks dodge that, and they get out of there. Riflemen will be capping on top. These are standard riflemen. He has 3. Are they all standard, or does he have veteran squads? They have a veteran rifleman squad with bazookas. 2 bazookas, in fact. And another rifle squad is standard. Ah, excuse me. Sorry about that. That actually caught me by surprise. Anyways, what's happening? War. There we go. So center map, we see a lot of troops pushing there for Lazy Ren. His vehicle crew is forced to retreat. The lieutenant's taking some damage. The veteran rifle squad getting a grenade inside the house. The Racket and Warfare going to be taking the hit. There he goes, loses one of its men, but the Racket and Warfare pops out. It is a veteran C5 Racket and Warfare. That gives it, I don't know how much. Let's see, veteran C1, it camouflages when in cover and out of combat. It increases the weapon targeting and rate of fire at 2. At 3, it gets armor. First strike out of camouflage increases the armor penetration and damage of the rocket. Then it says increases mobility and effective firing range. And then it increases field awareness and weapon rate of fire. So it's just amazing overall. So gets so many buffs there, but you want to keep it alive. We have a Puma that it's veteran C4. Let's see. It gets the aim shot at veteran C1. Weapon accuracy and rate of fire at 2. Vehicle mobility and weapon potency at 3. Firing range, nice, at 4. And at 5, if it gets to 5, it'll get tracking vision. Enemy units can be spotted behind line of sight blockers. Nice. Ooh, that's a nice bit. So center map, we have another EC8 here for Lazy Ren. He's going to continue to push with those, as obviously those are his strategy. He's basing it on that. He doesn't go for the tier 3 or tier 4, I guess. Tier 3. Yeah, because it's tier 0, then you get lieutenant and captain, and then the major. So tier 3, I guess. Because he's going to be calling these guys in. They cost a little bit more than standard Shermans, but he is just not being able to keep these guys alive. He's taking a lot of damage, manages to get the kill on one of the Pumas. Pumas goes up in flame. Very nice lucky shot. Well, not lucky shot, but a good break there for Lazy Ren. A very nice shot there by the anti-tank gun. And over on the other side, we still have another Puma there. And the Werfer, the Stuka. Well, a very inaccurate barrage there. Manages to do a little bit of damage there on that weapon team, but stays alive. So that half track is gonna increase its ready time, allowing for barrages to be fired with greater frequency. So yeah, it takes less time to reload though, so it's gonna be more potent as time goes on. So very nice, very nice. So very sporadic fighting here or there. I mean, we see that FestiveLongJohns is suffering right now in the unit count. He is down to only one Puma, and he is just starting to pump those Obersoldaten as much as he can, with 2 Volksgrenadiers there for support. One Obersoldaten is holding up in the north, as he likes to do that. As well, we see that FestiveLongJohns is going to continually send teams there. A nice little setup here. The Volksgrenadier squad going to getting shot there by the stolen MG34, and the Obersoldaten already set up there for the flank, already outside of the arc of fire. We'll be able to take them down. A bundle grenade right on top of these guys would be great, but he does not have the munitions for it, and the MG34 will be turning around. The rifleman squad with their bar rifles are going to just clean it out, and they manage to force it away very easily. Center map, more engagements going on. We see even the vehicle crew getting brought into the mix. A Stuka barrage right on top of everything. This is going to be painful. There goes the hits. Oh my god, 2 hits. Oh, that is... Wow, even the medics. What happened with the Geneva Convention? Well, Geneva Convention does not cover rockets getting fired at medics, apparently. And there he goes. A lot of damage goes down. We also see a white phosphorus round getting shot this direction, setting the field on fire, putting some smoke in the air, and forcing away a squad of Obersoldaten that made it out alive with 4 men, but they took a lot of damage. Thankfully for FestiveLongJohns, who did go for the medic camp, and will be able to just get these guys back in working order. Puma pops up a little bit, getting some shots off on the veteran rifle squad that has the bazookas. Bazooka shots firing at the Puma taking some damage, down to about 75% strength. The veteran rifle squad is pretty much okay, not going to be taking too much damage, not too worried about it. So again, Lazy Ren seems to be in a good spot. Lazy Ren also gotten himself another Easy 8, so it looks like he's getting ready for a push. We do have 2 Raketen Warfers, however, on the field for FestiveLongJohns. So well, where does he have them, though? He has one back here. That's a veteran C5, which is able to inflict a mighty punch at the first shot, as it does have that cloaking ability. Volksgrenadiers down south going to be running into those EC8s. The EC8 saying, "Surprise, motherfucker!" And the Volksgrenadiers are forced to retreat instantly. And I think they'll be fine. They're managing to dodge the shots every shot. Ooh, nasty shot there. Actually nails 2 of them as they stuttered a little bit as they were running, but they're fine. And we have the second Raketen Warfare getting brought into the center. Up in the north, Obersoldaten moving together, trying to get the map captured. I mean, victory points are down to 116 for FestiveLongJohns and still 246 left for Lazy Ren. So Lazy Ren in a more comfortable position. The Volksgrenadiers were trying to get some resource from salvaging the wrecks. That is something that you can do with those troops. They have this, the salvage operations. Work on wrecked vehicles, team weapons for 5 fuel, abandoned vehicles for 12 fuel. So he was trying to get a little bit more fuel, pump up his resources and such. But he got shot by an M8, an Easy 8. Because it's an M4A3E8. So yeah, it's not really an M8, it's M4. It's an Easy 8. Weapon team on top, forced to retreat. Obersoldaten, not really going to be able to do much against a tank. Going to have to retreat. The Puma getting brought into the mix. Going to get some shots off on this guy. We have Raketen Warfare, the veteran C51 up in the north. Smoke getting popped by the Puma. The Puma is going to be baiting the tanks into the arc of fire of the Raketen Warfare. Raketen Warfare getting a shot off on this EC8. The EC8 taking a shot on the side armor. Down to about half health. The second shot goes off by the Puma. The Puma brings him down to about half health now. We do have another Raketen Warfare nearby. The flak cannon is able to inflict more damage as well. Main gun destroyed on that veteran C2 EC8. The interesting. Well, it looks that Lazy Ren did not take too kindly to the loss of his of his EC8s, and at this point says has been replaced by AI at 44:23 a second ago. So he throws in the towel, quits the game, and there you go. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the game. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.